Hey, Natsu here. Today I'm going to do part 2 of What If Deku Was Trained by the Straw Hat's Pirate. In the last part, which was basically part 0, I kind of made a full recap of everything in the series. I missed a lot of things, yes, but it was basically just okay, how he got stronger, what happened for him to get stronger, and the reason in 3 years he was able to get from weak ass little guy to basically exactly the same strength as everyone else in the crew. So yeah, in the last part I ended it by him basically coming back, showing all of his abilities, blue walk, skywalk. The only things he didn't show was his sword skills because, well, kind of hard to do if you don't have them. But yeah, he basically have every weapon he has except his sword. So he has his slingshot, which basically makes him on the same level as the sniper god Usopp. He has the climb attack, which is Nami's staff, that basically let her control, change, create weather. Compared to Nami, he doesn't have Zeus, which is the cloud from Big Mom. That's basically the only thing he doesn't have. He has a raid suit, since, well, Sanji talked about the kid when he was in the castle of Germa. So his sister told, well, basically forced a scientist to make a suit for Izuku because, well, he's basically trained exactly like Sanji. And so, since Sanji said that he basically has every weapon that a Straw Hat has because he's trying to get back to where he come from, and that he wanted to get stronger. Well, she basically decided to do that. Since the raid suit can basically be used for an infinite amount of time, he won't need to change it. And anyway, he's a mechanic. He can build practically anything. He's a shipwright, stuff like that. So he has a lot of things. Also, in his bag, he has a lot of medicine and stuff like that from Chopper. And he's basically one of the best medic, well, literally in the My Hero Academia world, except for those who have quirk that basically heals you instantly or helps you heal faster. If we don't count those, he is the best doctor in the entire world right now. Also, he is the best swordsman because the amount of power he can use in one sword slash, the most powerful we saw up to now in the anime, that the power in that in the hit that the sword makes is basically more than, well, it's a lot more than All Might's strength. So he is powerful. When I decided to make this series, I thought, okay, yeah, I'm going to go and see exactly how strong everyone would be. Damn. Before the time skip, Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy are basically already stronger than All Might. and I decided to make him leave just before Wano. Do you know how far that is and how strong they got? I made a monster that I thought would be, yes, powerful, but I didn't think he would be that strong. So, yeah, Izuku. Izuku got a good reputation in the One Piece world. Like, each of their straw hats have a name, and well, on their wanted poster they have a name, and sometimes they have an additional writing that explains what they are. For Izuku, it is the name he had was Izuku Midoriya. Um, Shoot, I had it written somewhere. Be right back, I'm going to check if I can find it. Okay, the name he had, because basically it's like Usopp. He has two names for wanted posters, Usopp and Sniper King. And the name I wanted to give Izuku was basically something that was kind of putting everything at once. And I really cannot find it for some reason. So, because I wanted to make that his hero name as well, but since I can find it, it's kind of hard to do that. So, I'm going to ask you to try in the comment section to give a name to him that is like a title that would take everything he can do in consideration. I know there's not a lot of way to say that, but a title can have, I think, up to 5 words or something. So you do have a part of, well, you do have place to play with words. So yeah, because I don't want to make his name Deku in this one. I'm still going to call him Deku, but I want to give him another name. So after he came back and basically went back to school, growing up afterward, he was basically, well, he already was the strongest in class, and he was mostly training his haki against everyone that was going after him, or showing his different weapons, except his swords. In his house, he has the multiple plants that Usopp gave him to make seeds for his slingshot. So every different seeds to attack with, he has them on the belt, practically 24/7. He has his slingshots on on him, the climb attack, and every other things that he would need. Basically, everything happens where he basically become top of the class, because with Robin he basically trained his memory most of the time, and now he just needs to see something like from afar and he remembers it perfectly. If he wanted to, he could look at a city for like 2 or 3 seconds and then do it completely on a sheet of paper. So he has a great memory. so he mostly get the top score. So time skip to the start of the anime. When the teacher go to ask people what they wanted to do, first of the class, UA, then look at Izuku, oh, you wanna go there too? And basically everyone started saying, yeah, well, if he wasn't going there, it would be a problem, no? He's the strongest one around here. Also, they don't know about the sword skills, but still. So, when he leaves that night, he doesn't go by the sludge villain. All Might's able to catch him and bring him back. So that doesn't happen, because I won't freaking give one for all to the kid who was already stronger than All Might himself. So, for the 10 months, Bakugo decides to ask him to train with him, because if a quirkless human, or if a quirkless boy is able to get all of those capacities, he should be able to. The problem is that Izuku was special because of the quirk, quote unquote, that he has that nobody knew about. That the more he's interested in something, the faster he's going to be able to learn it or to get stronger. And the only reason he was able to learn hockey was because it really interested him and his body kind of forced a change for him to use it. Since there's not normally hockey in the My Hero Academia world. So he's basically the only one who's going to be able to do that, as well as Skywalk, Blue Walk, and practically every sword skill he has that requires hockey. Um, Most of the time he uses hockey of observation when he's using a slingshot to go sniper mode. Oh yeah, also he has a mask like for Shoga King or Sniper King. Practically the same with the same kind of glasses that are in it to augment the distance. So he has the same mask, and basically his hero suit is going to be the raid suit, but he still had the mask because he used it a lot with Usopp. Now he mostly keeps it in his room. So for the 10 months of training, Bakugo got a lot stronger fighting against Izuku. Izuku basically was training, well, actually, he was just training Bakugo, he didn't even train himself. All Might trained Mirio to have one for all, but Mirio decided to say, no, I don't want it, give it to someone else. And let's say they found, let's say Mirio says, give it to someone who's already capable of controlling his quirk, but that normally his quirk wouldn't be that strong by itself. So that there can be more heroes that are strong. So let's say they found let's say they found the guy with no, yes, it's a guy, but his name is um Kaminari, the thunder guy. I was looking for his name. They found him and they decided to give it to him, and All Might was like, wait, so you cannot use your power too strong or you're fraying your brain? And from that, Mirio told him to to just use a constant stream of electricity that is low low power around his entire body, even his head and brain, constantly, and try to always have that to force his body to adapt to that for the 10 months. So that happened, and he's, compared to in the anime, he's basically immune to his own electricity when he's using it. And he has one for all. And so, when the school entrance exam happens, sorry about that. When UA entrance exam happens, Izuku and Bakugo go at one at the same time. They are separated for the battle one, like in the original, but well, Izuku has a freaking 100% in the written exam. In the practical, where it's against robots, basically everything except Izuku talking and Ida telling him to shut up. Ida asks the same question, the same thing happens, and then they go there. Izuku does not have his weapons for that, because he cannot use them. So, when they go to start, they hear 3, 2, 1, Ida starts running, and then suddenly he just looks up and see that there's already someone in it, destroying robots. It's Izuku, because the speed at which Zoro can move, just the first time they met Baroque Work, the organization of Crocodile, he was already capable of moving faster than the eye can see, and his speed increased at least 20-fold for that, so Izuku is fast. In water, without even using Blue Walk, he's fast too. If he used Blue Walk, he's even more fast. And on Earth, when he used Skywalk, once again, he goes faster because he basically kicks the air literally itself, so he basically started destroying robots after robots continuously. Sorry about that. And destroyed about 100 points before deciding to let people get points. Izuku doesn't have his weapons, but he does have his medical equipment, because he always keep them for if there's an emergency. So Izuku was basically helping others, like if they were going to be hurt or stuff like that. Or at one point someone did get hurt, and he basically came, took out the bag that he had, and started doing what a doctor do, and helps him, taking care of the injury, basically doing everything that it needs to be, and then says to him, stay safe, I have other people that I need to help, and starts going again. Which the heroes are seeing this, and Recovery Girl is in it, and she's saying, whoa, he's moving pretty well for a kid. He's able to help with injuries like that pretty fast. If he's entering in the hero course, but if he wanted to, he could be he could be a doctor with ease, which does give him a lot of points for multiple things. So everything continues up until when they liberate the zero pointer. When the zero pointer starts rampaging, same thing with Ochako happens. She's stuck on the rubbles, and automatically Izuku basically jumps straight in front of the robot, and he automatically places the strongest armament haki he can, which is basically because of all of the fighting he did against other people who wanted to try him. His haki augmented a lot. Like, if he wanted to, he could use a haki on his entire body and it would be as strong as the one that Luffy had when he fought against, well, the one he got after fighting the Mochi guy, Katakuri. He can basically now have that haki on his entire body and keep it up if he wanted for an entire day, because basically every one of the superhuman in the Straw Hat group can basically, if they wanted to, fight for multiple days without problem. And basically Izuku's the same. So everything that, well, the only thing that is left of the robot after he got hit, because think of it like that. If you use a sword to give a hit, what happens is basically you only have a certain area where the hit goes. If you use your fist and hit something, and that the same air pressure is sent off, it won't be as precise. And basically, it destroyed the entire robot almost instantly. Like, what is left of him is basically every part, but completely broken off and falling everywhere in in that city, and in the other cities. Like, it's raining pieces of metal. After destroying it, he went to Ochako, took the rock off, and basically started treating her leg automatically up until the point where the timer said, okay, it's over. So basically, Izuku helped Ochako. She's kind of able to walk a bit if she has help. Izuku is helping her walk. And when they get to the exit, Recovery Girl was there waiting and basically told him, thank you for helping the students. It makes the job easier for everyone, and even to let some people keep fighting for longer than they would have had if you didn't help them. After that happened, Izuku was basically telling her that, well, he didn't help, he had enough points, and so everyone was every student that he helped basically went and told him thank you, and were really happy that he did that because, well, it helped them fight longer, which they would not have been able to if he would not have helped them. So everyone is pretty happy from what he did. He got a lot more points and he left after that. When when he got back home, well, no, while they were going back home, him and Bakugo talked together. They decided to say what they did, and Izuku basically told him about everyone he helped, and Bakugo was like, "Yeah, you would do that." And Izuku's like, "Well, yeah, I kind of trained to be a doctor, and I have pretty much, well, he kept every way of thinking of the Straw Hats, so sorry, I had to pause for a bit. What I was saying was that he kept the mentality and of every Straw Hat, basically. So from Chopper, he wants to be the best doctor possible. He wants to be the best swordsman that he can in his world. He wants to be the best cook. Um, he wants to be the best at most things, protect the one he loves, and stuff like that. He wants to know as much history as possible from Robin. He wants to be the best meteorologist from Nami. So basically, he learned from them and he started becoming more and more like them over time. So when he came back home, he basically kept training his his swordsmanship, his strength, kick, cooking, doctor, and everything. So basically, he knows everything from um, like the way stuff will happen, like in the atmosphere to know what temperature is going to happen, what climate, and everything like that. He basically became one person that knows pretty much everything that needs to be known when you're a pirate or stuff like that. So he's basically a one-man crew, which is basically something funny. So he trained in his world to cook, be a doctor, and everything else like that. So when he got his letter to enter UA, he was asked to come one day before it because it is on his document. It's saying that he's quirkless, but he has all of those capacities and stuff like that. So they're asking themselves, is he lying or is it that it's just never been updated? When he came to school, he had he brought his swords and everything else that he has, as well as his raid suit. And when they arrived, when he arrived, and that they started asking him question about it, All Might was there, but in his skinny form because, well, he didn't know if he could trust Midoriya that much. Well, he wanted to be there, but he couldn't use, be in his All Might form. So the next best thing was basically be there while in his normal form. So when they started asking questions to Izuku about if he updated that after he got his quirk or stuff like that. And he said, well, I don't need to update it, I don't have a quirk. When they asked him what he meant by that, he said that, well, most of those things are or martial arts or stuff I learned uh, basically from people that helped me. They asked him what he means by that, and then he says that he was captured by a group of people and was brought somewhere else, and that a group of people basically came, well, actually rescued him, and until he was able to get back to his house, well, to his home, he asked them to train him in everything they could do. So basically, he knows everything they knew. He's as strong as every one of them was. And so they asked him everything he learned from them. And then he said shipwright, meteorologist, doctor, um, navigator, um, swordsmanship, cooking, and continuing like that, say basically everything. And they were impressed by all that he knew, because he said he was there for 3 years and that he trained to be as strong as people who are way older than him and that started training a lot before him. So they decided to try something, and they went looking for someone who has a quirk that let him see the quirk of people. And when he looked at him, he said, well, I don't really get what it's supposed to be, but the name of your quirk is learning and no, amplified desire, which basically is the more you want to learn something, or the more active you are at trying to get something because you want it, the faster you are, but none of them knows what it truly does. And so basically he just said, yeah, you have a quirk, but I don't know what it's used for. So after that, All Might decides to say, so why do you have 4 swords? So All Might asked why he had 4 swords, and Izuku said that he knows 4 different sword style. The 1 sword style, the 2 sword style, the 4 sword style, the 3 sword style, I mean. And the last style is one that one of the members of the crew who taught him that it's basically his own to him. Then he shows, because the cane is a sword and he showed it, then he takes out his violin and starts playing with the sword. Basically, everyone's like, whoa. Okay, so you learned all of those things and you kept learning here? That's impressive. So, did this. Recovery Guild did ask him who was the one that trained him, and Izuku basically said a reindeer that trained to be a doctor, which she proceeded to laugh until um, Nezu told him, so you met another animal with an intelligent quirk. That's impressive. It is rare. It is rare. Blah. My 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 body doesn't want to say that word right now. I don't know why. It's rare to see that quirk in animals. Thank you. So they told him that he was accepted, that he was going to be in class 1A. And then Aizawa entered, well, knocked and entered because he wanted to ask a question to Nezu. Saw the kid and then asked who he was. And Nezu said, "Ah, he's going to be one of your students. He is the kid that got the most points in both villain category and hero category. He is extremely impressive in terms of strength, speed, and every weapon he is able to control." Aizawa asked weapons, and then Nezu says, "Well, he was trained by masters of different martial arts, and the quirk he has isn't really made for combat. He actually just learned about it today, so he never trained it. Some capacity he has will look like quirks, but won't be. Also, we're going to give him a special permission to have his weapons at all time." Which Aizawa was like, so he's looking at him, he sees the cane that's basically, well, the sword cane that's basically not, is out of the cane because Izuku was playing the violin. He sees the three other swords that has really nice patterns. He sees the bag, the belt with some kind of seeds in it, the slingshot, and the staff, which he basically asks Izuku what all of those are. He says, "Well, this is my slingshot for when because I was a sniper. This is called the climate attack. I can change the climate and attack with it." Um, he 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 basically says that those seeds are basically plants that are special and that he grows himself. That he has those plants at home that grows those seed, and each of this different seed has different capacities. So Aizawa is impressed because, well, he never saw those, and he said, "So you're going to please don't be a troublemaker," and he left. The next day, when he arrived in class, everyone basically saw him. Like this time, he arrived about at the same time as Aizawa because he basically stopped to talk with him because Aizawa wanted to ask him something before entering. So him and Aizawa both entered at the same time, and everyone that saw Izuku arrive was basically like, "Wait, what the hell does he have swords and all of those things?" Which Aizawa said, "Hello everyone, I'm going to be your school homeroom teacher, Mr. Aizawa." Then everyone's like, well, everyone that was helped by Izuku were like, "Wait, why do you have swords and stuff?" And then Aizawa said, "Because he's the only quirkless one here. He's basically quirkless, and he was trained to use multiple different types of martial arts and other stuff." Then Ida came to him and said, "Wait, quirkless, but I saw him use all of those different abilities." And then Bakugo said, "Yeah, well, you would be surprised how many more things he has. Hell, those swords could probably cut through anything. He can cut through metal if he wants to, pretty easily." Everyone then looked at him and were like, "Wait, you can cut metal?" He said, well, yeah, he took out one of his sword and basically he just took one of his two normal swords, not his cursed sword, and basically said that if he concentrates well enough, he can basically cut through practically anything. There is a limit to what he can cut right now, but he's training to be able to cut everything. So he placed it back in his hold, and then Aizawa said, "Well, I want to say that today we're going to go and I want you to go change and come to the yard. We're going to do a test to see what who's where in terms of strength and stuff like that. I'm going to end it here. I just realized I talked a lot about stuff that I could have told in the first episode, or that I was backtracking a lot. Sorry about that. And like I said at the start of the of this part, I want you to put a name in the comment section that you think would go well for Deku, because I want I want the name he had in the One Piece world to be his hero name because he became attached to it, and I cannot find the one that I had for him. So try to find one that would basically describe what he is in 5 words or less. And I'm gonna take the best one or the one that has the most likes. I'm gonna wait like 2 days to do the next part of this one. I'm going to continue other what ifs. So you have time to think about it. So hope you liked it. Natsu,